Okay.
And we are live, I assume.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. This is Dungeon Master Benjamin here, live from Heart of the Game Studios with the always fantastic Heart of the Game players. We here are on episode 2 of our weekly Eberron campaign. And we will start it off. Zachary, why don't you give us your character's name and a brief description to remind the folks at home and anybody who this may be their first time joining us.
Hello, I go by Rue. I am playing the Kalashtar gunslinger Ishara Valakash, who is scarred and damaged from her experiences in the last war and wandering the wastelands around Seer for meaning.
And go ahead, Ashley.
I am Ashley, or Ash for short. I am playing Navari, the tiefling swashbuckler rogue, who is looking for her family, who she lost after the war. That's it.
All right.
That's my intro.
So, perfect. So, as you guys may remember, when we last played, you had we flashed back to the day that you met, which was during the last war, specifically on the day of mourning, where Ishara, you were able to rescue Navari from a pretty bad situation, and you had encountered some Karnathi soldiers, undead, a horrible bone golem. You completed your mission, which was to destroy this tower where this weapon that was able to disable the Warforged Colossi that Seer was using to fight back on the borders of Karnath. When, as you looked over your shoulders, you saw rolling across the hills the complete destruction of the nation. In that day, in game time, that happened 4 years ago. So when we open up today, you guys are on the lightning rail, and you are just arriving in Sharn. It is dark, it is gloomy, it is pouring rain. And the reason why you guys have come to Sharn is after 4 years of following leads that really have led to nowhere for either of you and your goals. You remember you're going to meet up with a friend of yours who is affiliated with House Cannith and had some information, and somebody that you frequently go to get like artifacts, things like that, and that like artifacts and relics appraised. Not so much, I won't use the word appraised, so much like identified. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to that kind of stuff, and he's somebody that's helped you guys in the past. So as you guys walk the city, there are curtains of water falling from the sky as you traverse the labyrinth walkways of Sharn. The stone and wooden paths wind around in between the towers and spires, high above the ground, forming a complex latticework that can be very confusing on evenings such as this. The rain falls very hard, running off the walkways and balconies, drenching waves, making it difficult to see much more than a few feet ahead of you. The distant glow of the ever-bright lanterns, barely visible in the soaking gloom, does little to light the paths on this warm, damp evening. So one thing that's interesting about Sharn is they call it the City of Towers, and it's built on a weak spot where it crosses over to what is the kind of like the plane of air in Eberron, but it's it actually has like a different name, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize, everybody.
It's okay, Ben, you're pretty.
And so this tower, this city is just built straight up. And on the bottom of it, the poorer districts are built upon ruins from the ancient Dakani Empire, which has long since fallen, well before the last war, before the Five Kingdoms were raised. And the upper districts tend to be, more for wealthier people, and just people who are just more well-to-do. Things that Sharn is known for that you would also know is that this is a very crime-ridden city, as most are, and there are many gangs who control various aspects. not just in the Undercity. I mean, these gangs have influence going all the way up. Most of them have people on the payroll in the city watch, so it's a place where it is a lot of shades of gray, a lot of, you're not sure who you can trust while you're here.
Ben, are you implying that we can't trust law enforcement here? I'm shocked.
It's a possibility. We're gonna go with that. How's that sound? So
Sounds
I'm gonna
good.
start this off where I'd like you both to make perception checks.
Alrighty. Let's see.
Gosh dang it. It was a good number, then it rolled over.
Those are the best kind of rolls.
Yeah, I got a 6. We're off to a
Oh,
great start. Look, my last D&D game I was in, I rolled like natural 20s and really high. So I'm ready for this game to just be low.
Fortunately for me, a natural 10 is a 15, so 15 isn't terrible.
I'm glad you're
Okay.
the perceptive one.
So in this dark, gloomy, rainy evening, Ishara, you see lying on the ground the body of what appears to be a man, and there's a deep reflection of another liquid pooling in the rain that's thicker and has more of a hint to it, a hint of redness. This person lays on their face, down on the ground. You can see there's a leather satchel clutched tightly in the body's hand, and it seems like whatever that is, it would, they're holding on to it as they were struck down. You don't see anybody else nearby. So I'm gonna put the camera. Pardon me, everybody. I hope you see the table.
Just for clarity's sake, we are on the outskirts of Sharn, correct? Was that what it was?
You're in the city.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we're just
You
like
guys
in
see
the
that?
middle of the city and there's this dead dude.
Yes.
Oh no, it fell.
There we go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That is pretty okay.
All right. Can tell who's who and everything.
Oh, I was gonna say slowly going now.
Yeah.
Are those like guards next to us?
Oh, those are statues.
Oh, okay.
They don't show up super great on the camera, which is okay. But yeah, I have a lot of cool widgets and things to add. Yep, those are just a couple of stone statues. One of the neat things about the city is that it's very, it actually has like night lights, which are ever bright lanterns, which are just magically created lanterns that will never go out unless dismissed by magic word. It's one of the things that makes Sharn, it's a reasonably modern place, is I think a good way to describe it. So as you guys are on this walkway, just you mindful, like there's railings to protect you from just tipping over the edge. But if you were to fall, as you look down on the edges, it would not be pleasant, and it would be a very painful landing, because as this city is just built straight up, you have this aspect of these bridges that cross each other and intersect, and towers. And so as you look down, you can see other bridges, you can see the roofs of other buildings, and you cannot see the lowest part of the city because it's just so far. And with the rain, water is coming down from higher railings, so there's dry spots as you'd cross under, but there's other spots where it's just a cascade, almost like a waterfall. So we'll just go with this. Since Ashara, you're the one who actually spotted the body. What is it that you do?
So definitely going to be drawing at least one of my pistols and pointing it out to Navari. Probably pretty silently, just kind of, a gesture to him. And then making my way over to check and see. The first question is, how fresh is the body? Is there a chance the killers could still be nearby?
I'll let you roll a medicine check.
Alrighty. Medicine was unexpected. Let's see. Any chance I could parlay with you for investigation there? Actually, no, never mind. I'll be better at medicine. Ignore me.
What's that? The skill you're worse at?
Sorry.
I think he wanted investigation, Ben.
So that's going to be a 16.
This person, like, this is very recent. It is very plausible that whoever did this could still be within, like, actionable range.
In that case, so dead man, he's clutching this leather satchel, and that's the only really like outstanding feature, right?
So as you get closer, you see that this man is a bit on the elderly side, with gray hair and stuff like that. He's wearing like casual clothing for somebody who would be kind of more of a professional. This is somebody who's not a day laborer. This is somebody who's obviously not in a uniform. He's somebody who might, is like a scholarly type, somebody who has kind of like a more, I would say, like a professional office, white collar kind of style look for the city of Sharn, though. So he's wearing like a long coat, maybe like a slightly puffed up shirt. His clothing's fairly clean and neat. There's, you don't see like where it's been stitched and held together and survived. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not heavily distressed. So he's somebody who did have some kind of wealth. Navari, what would you like to do?
Oh, I will probably join him up near the body.
Okay.
I don't know how long it was dead for. But since he's clutching the satchel, can I like peek inside the satchel?
Yeah. So you see that as you open the satchel, it's very well made. It's a nice leather satchel. It's not super big, so you could maybe describe it as a purse, but it's a satchel. Just to be clear. Okay, I
It's a
carry
man
one.
bag.
No, it's a satchel.
Sorry, I just had
Indiana
to.
Jones has one. And as you peek inside of it, you can see that there's quills and inks, sheets of paper. There seems to be a round object wrapped in a cloth, and a leather-bound book of some sort that appears to be a bit old and weathered.
Can I flip through the book? And
So you reach down and you pick up the book and look inside of it. There's a very faint silvery emblem on the cover of it, and it's not showing up very well in the dim light. And as you open it, you notice all the pages are blank. Like there's either nothing's been written in it, or an enchantment is required to, allow you to see. And as that happens, I want you guys to roll initiative for me.
Hey, I love rolling initiative. Not when I roll like that, though.
My dice hate me today.
13 for Ishara.
12.
13? Oh, 12's not bad. It's like when you get like 5. That's when you're like, oh yeah, yep, I'm not gonna make it. All right. So, hidden from your view, crawling up over the railing on the edge of the platform, is a stocky warforged.
Oh, good.
You look at this person and you see that this was one built for combat, somebody for fighting, and carved into their forehead seems to be a Karnathi emblem. This warforged, upon coming over, looks at you guys, looks at the body on the ground, and notices that Navari has the journal in hand, and immediately rushes,
I knew I should have picked up the object instead.
colliding into you. So you feel the force of its body crash into yours, knocking you maybe a few steps back. And it shouts to you guys, "The Lord of Blades will have his day again, you filthy, flesh-loving cretins." So as you hear this almost mad shout and attack verbally, Ishara, what do you do?
I mean, I'm putting my guns in his face. If he's so he didn't have a full turn. He's like getting ready to bum rush Navari is where
Oh
we're at.
no, he hit her and did no damage.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yes.
In that case, I am drawing my second pistol and I'm going ham on this guy. We are going for disabling shots in this house. She's probably aiming for like, where she knows important joints are that allow him his mobility. She's probably
Okay.
very familiar with Warforged design from her time in the war.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very plausible.
yeah. So here we go. We have 2 attacks coming in here. I'm gonna guess we have a hit and a miss because I have a 19 and I have a 12.
19 is good, and yes, 12 definitely is a miss.
Okay. Ooh, but I rolled a max damage, so that's gonna be a 14 on the damage there.
Wow. Okay. So you fire a shot, aiming for like one of the leg joints to hopefully slow this thing down and disable it. And your round goes off, punching through the side of like this extra plate that seems to be affixed to its knee. And it stumbles just a moment and gives you a very deathly stare. I'm messing with the camera. I apologize.
That's fine. He can death stare me all he wants. I'm the one who has more hit points.
Would you like to make any moves?
I'm gonna move a little bit so I'm more directly in line with him, I think. So just like 2 squares to my left. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Watch him just throw me off the ledge. Roll credits. Bye.
Good idea. Yep,
Well-
just done. Oh, that was fun.
All right. Well, he's distracted with you. I'm gonna go hide. Good luck.
All right. So Navari, what is it that you would like to do?
Well, probably pull out my rapier and attack. I don't think
Okay.
anything else I can do. Let me roll a 19 to hit.
Nice, nice.
Gotta get a D8 unprepared. 4, 7 points of damage.
You are a swashbuckler, correct?
Yes.
So you also get your sneak attack with that.
Oh, okay. So that is an extra.
6.
I think it depends on the level. I wrote it down.
At your
Is
level,
it
it's a
D6? Okay, sorry.
You're okay.
2 more points of damage.
2 more. Excellent.
And then
So
I
as
want to.
you-
Oh.
Yep. And then you can actually follow that up with a move.
Yeah,
because you're
with
a
my fancy
swashbuckler round
footwork.
and yep, exactly.
Yeah, and I want to take a few steps back.
All right. So you take a few steps back down the walkway. This person lets out a mighty roar and barrels across the body, bull rushing. Ishara, roll me a strength athletics check.
You shouldn't have said thrown off the edge.
Is this like a shove so that I could theoretically use dexterity instead, or is it just strength?
I will. Yes, if you want to just dodge it, that is absolutely an acceptable.
Okay, cool.
Way to get out of it.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, because it would have been a lot worse if it were strength. Still only comes out to a 14, so I'm not sure if that's gonna do it, but
Well, so you take the blow head on from the shield, and thank God the railing is there, because as you go over the top of the railing, you are able to grab on to the ledge, and so you are hanging off the side of the bridge. And as you look down, it is 60 feet to the next the bridge below you.
oof. Well, that's
And then-
unsettling.
this character looks at you and just demands, "Surrender the journal, and I can go on my way."
So throw the journal off
Shara.
the edge?
Gross.
So Ishara, it is your turn as you hang over the edge of this bridge here with this warforged looking down on you.
Well, okay. He asked for it. I'm double checking one of my class features real quick to see if I can do this the way that I want to do it.
Okay.
I think I can. It doesn't say that I can. Let me. Oh, nope, there it is. I was seeing if I could use more than one different type of trick shot per attack, but I cannot. I can only do one per attack.
Mhm.
Because I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use my action surge, I'm gonna put my pistol in his face, and I'm gonna shoot at him. And on each of my shots, I'm going to expend one of my grit points to add a die of damage, assuming that I hit. This also means
Okay.
if I roll a 3 or lower, I'll be misfiring. So
Yes.
time for some pew pew. Well, that's not a 3 or lower. Does a 17 hit?
17 hits.
And I'm just going to roll the second attack before I throw any dice, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Okay, and that's another 17, actually. That's 2 9s. So
All right.
that's going to be 4d10 plus 8 damage.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 5 and 6 is 11, so 15. And 14 is 29, and 4, 33.
Okay.
And I think after she does so I think what she probably does is her gun comes up from under the railing, because you know the Western movie thing where you flare the hammer as you shoot. I think she's using the railing to flare the hammer, because obviously one
Oh,
hand has
nice.
to
Yeah.
stay like looped around it.
Yeah.
And then I just think she shouts for Navari to get under cover.
Okay.
Don't let him have the journal. If he wants it, we're not giving it.
All right. Cool. I like it. So use both your actions to fire. So that means, yeah, you're still hanging on.
Yeah.
All right. Navari, what do you do?
Well, I was told to get to cover, but I'm assuming there's not really any cover.
Well, there is the two statues kind of at your bridge, and then you could run backpedal more into the city. So there could be a building or a doorway you could duck into. There are some you passed some buildings with closed doors, so you're not sure if you could just bust through and get into one necessarily, but it is something that you could possibly do.
Okay. And is the black area all like the edge?
Yeah, that is where you will fall.
Okay, because I
Yeah,
haven't.
that's the chasm that I'm about to get Jotun into.
That's the danger zone.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I have an idea.
Well, hello, Spooky.
Can I take a step toward the edge, Ben?
Yeah. So you want to go to here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the journal, can I prepare an action
Okay.
to
I think I
slide
know
a
where you're
hand,
going.
fake throw it? If
Oh. Okay. So do you want to fake throw it now?
no,
Or a Warforged, not
Or
a
you're
golden
gonna wait
retriever.
until?
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna say, I mean, if you toss my friend there off the ledge, you might have to go diving for this book too. Like, can I hold my action to do it?
Yeah. Okay. But you've said if you throw my friend off the bridge, that dialogue was something you just said now to get his attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So it turns and looks at you, sword drawn, point at you in a very threatening manner, and it gets within so it's about a foot away with its outstretched hand with the blade. And the Warforged says, "If either of you want to walk away from this alive, all you need to do is hand over the journal. Nothing more."
Well, why don't you go get it from her?
Okay. So the
Say
Warforged
boldly
then
hanging off the
another
railing.
step with its sword pointed right at you, preparing to slash. Do you want to use your ready to action yet?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll your sleight of hand.
If I can, Ben, while she's got him distracted, I'd like to try to sneakily climb up the railing and be back on more even
Are
footing.
you kidding me?
Uh,
I used roll 20 to roll, and it rolled a 7. And I hate
Well,
my
what's that come out
life.
to total? 'Cause you
7.
have a pretty
It
good
rolled
mod.
it rolled a 2 plus 5.
Oh.
Yeah. It apparently it doesn't want me to do anything cool. Do I
so
have
as you try to trick it like I do with my pets when I fake throw the tennis ball, the Warforged is not impressed and swings with this downward stroke right at you. The longsword hammering into you, dealing. Oops, wrong die. 8 points of damage.
one day I'll do something cool?
I believe in you.
You can't roll bad all the time.
Can't rain all the time.
That's right. And so as you feel the longsword, the weight of it and the sharpness slash and hammer into your body, you notice a little bit of blood trickling through your shirt. And again, it demands the journal or your lives. Do not test me.
Your life.
And it is Ishara's turn.
Oh, it's your turn.
Yeah, if I can, I'd like to use my movement to pull myself back up onto the ledge and be standing there like a normal person.
All right, this will be an athletics check.
Okay. Ooh, is a 15 good enough?
Yes, so you pull yourself up and over the railing, ending up back on the bridge in a safe position with your move.
It's my first roll that's above a natural 11, so I'm not complaining. And now I have both hands for my pistols again. And yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna keep blasting this guy. I'm not playing around with him. So this is gonna be my third set of shots.
So anyway, I just started playing. Well, remember, you
So-
fired 2 rounds last turn with one of them.
Oh, that's true. So this will be my last round with one
With
pistol.
your prime it'll be your last round.
Yeah, the other one will have 2 left.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna expend my last 2 grit points to hit him for an extra die of damage on each shot again.
Okay.
Assuming they both hit. Fortunately, with a +8, it's usually pretty good. Well, one of them's a 26. The other is less, but it's still a 17. So,
Okay.
here we go. All right, so we have the first one doing 16, and the second one doing 17.
Okay. By my
I think I've
calculation,
switched from
a lot.
she's probably switched from being worried about non-lethal shots to like
Yeah, at this
Danny
point,
DeVito.
after he was
Blasting.
yeah, this character was able to was all in on throwing you over the edge. So you just hear boom, boom, as both shots rock through the back of its body, and it stumbles over, collapsing onto the stone of the bridge. And you, as soon as you fire that last shot, you can hear other voices shouting, and they're like, "Get the watch! The city watch! Someone's being killed down there!"
It's
We
the
should-
fuzz.
And like you could hear, like, now that, like, you guys are done fighting, you've seen this person go down, and things have like kind of focused a little more. You definitely hear the whistles of the watch. So they've been summoned. They've heard the gunshots. They've heard the battle.
I'm gonna say my catchphrase, hey, we should go.
Yeah. Isn't that every rogue's catchphrase?
Maybe.
So first of all, I'm assuming that guy counted as a dangerous foe.
Yes.
Cool. Then I get back 1 grit point.
I'm picking up the satchel and running.
Okay.
before I run after Navari, I'm looking at the Warforged on the ground going, "Know your place, trash!" And then we're going.
You're just like throwing that extra kick on him when he's down.
Yeah, probably something a little more in character, but whatever the Eberron equivalent of "get dunked on" is.
Yeah. As you dab.
Dabbing frantically away while running treetops.
And we should probably like find a safe place to hide. That's a good distance away.
Yeah. We go, and I'm probably trying to like stow my pistols as we're running, so it's not as obvious that I have giant boom boom cannons in my hands.
Are you guys just flat out? Is it a flat run, or are you trying to get cover and hide as you run?
Cover and hide and blend in.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have you both roll stealth checks as you are trying to dodge the city watch.
Why do you keep rolling that?
Well, it's not just you this time. I got a 6.
I rolled a 6 plus 5 plus 3, so I'm good.
Okay.
So
14.
14 for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So Navari, you take off running, and you duck and cover, and you find like some bushes and stuff, and like get around a corner. Ishara, you're trying to keep up. You're not quite as stealthy. Perhaps like you lose footing on the wet pavement of it, and as you turn, look over your shoulder, you see 3 members of the City Watch staring right at you. They're still about 60 feet away, so they don't have a great view of you, but they definitely see 2 bodies lying on the ground from which you are running away from. There seems to be, a couple. So there's 3 members of the Watch. They are wearing the green and black studded leather armor of the Watch, and one of them seems to be like a very broad-shouldered, bit shorter, probably a dwarf. And he definitely has a crossbow pointing at you, and there's like a small ball of arcane light hovering above his shoulder, illuminating the area. And you can see 2 others that appear to have polearms standing on either side of him. And he just shouts out, "Oladara's bloody nose! By the order of the Watch, drop your weapon and explain yourself!"
Is he saying that to just Zach's character or both of us?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he does not see Navari right now. The only person he sees is Ishara, who did not quite get as good of a start on this dead sprint and hide to escape what is obviously a very bad situation.
So describe for me my immediate surroundings. Like, is there a convenient alley to run into? What are we looking at here?
Directly in front of you, on the spire that you're on, is a fountain.
Perfect. I'll just hide in there.
To your right are a couple of trees, like how like a city would like plant trees and stuff. Well, so these are in like these pots. And one of the really neat things about Eberron is that it's very like they're probably magically cared for, so that way it keeps them going well enough. And then to the left, you could follow Navari, who is going kind of like an alley that has a staircase in it, so it's narrow and dark.
Do I hear the shouting?
You do hear the shouting.
Because I have an idea that might help, might not help you, Zach.
I mean,
can I
do your thing or don't?
Okay. Can I cast Disguise Self? Because I have the Legacy of Dis. So I look like a human, and like loop around, and like run for the guards, yelling for help, and saying that I saw the murderers run
that way,
the other way, and say like it was a dwarf and a human, and like just give some random description.
So disguise yourself as just somebody who lives here.
Yeah.
Who's obviously not an adventurer or a combatant who is
Mhm.
not armed to the teeth with like a sword, knife,
Yeah.
and gotcha. All right, so as you go running around the corner in your disguise as just like somebody who would be middle class, somebody who would live in this area, shouting to the guards, I'm going to allow you to roll a deception, but I'm going to give you advantage for sure for
Advantage?
your disguise and the fact that your story is pretty convincing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Rolled a 17 and a 16 plus my modifiers. Oh, you said deception?
hmm
25, because I am double proficient in deception. And I actually rolled well. 17 and a 16.
so the
There you
dwarf, the leader of this group, shouts, "Thank you for the help!" Taps one of his guards on the shoulder, and they turn and go the other direction. He shouts, "They went this way! We have a witness who said they went this way!" And you hear somebody respond, "All right, Sergeant, we'll continue the search." And after about 30 seconds or so, you can hear like shouts back and forth as they're searching. You can hear doors being knocked on as they're investigating in the opposite direction. So you guys are now left alone with one guard who is examining the bodies on the bridge.
Can I go around the corner and chop this guy's
Yeah.
self so they don't come back and question me?
Yes, absolutely.
Do that. And I go up to Zach's character, whose name I always forget.
Still Ishara.
Ishara.
Ashara. Figured you could use some help.
I appreciate the save.
Can I, like, look in the satchel and look at the thing that's wrapped up, too?
Do you guys want to like just get out of the area?
Yeah, out of
first?
the area,
Cover.
though. Yeah, and cover.
Shoot, sorry, I'm very yawny. I've been awake for like 20 minutes.
Nah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
if we can find like a tavern or something, that seems pretty perfect. Also, for
Alright.
any viewers, I'm not super lazy and just sleep till 5, 6, 7 in the evening. I work overnights.
I, however, am
Actually,
lazy. Though I did go for a walk today.
A,
It was like
I went for a walk this morning before I went to bed.
my walk was like an hour and 45. It was so hot out. And I came back and I'm like, I want to take a nap. But I didn't. Sorry, continue
Gosh,
as we get
It's okay.
distracted.
I need caffeine.
No, you guys are good. So you guys get you creep around the city and you spend about 30 minutes navigating, looking for a place that you just feel more comfortable. And you come across a tavern called the Broken Anvil. It is located in the Mason's Tower, and there's a sign above it acknowledging that the establishment belongs to House Galanda. And as soon as you guys walk in, there's a halfling woman greets you at the door. She says, "Ah, yes, welcome to the Broken Anvil. Um, come with me, please, both of you." And she takes you guys to a table that's just kind of, it's a little bit isolated. It's a pretty sparse night for business, it seems. But being that this is like a House Galanda inn, you guys know that it's a safe place. The food is going to be adequate. The drink, same thing. Nothing will be out of the ordinary. So as you guys sit at a table and begin examining the contents of the satchel, you go through and you find like these quills and ink are not something that are, I would say, they're a little high end. Okay, so this is somebody who probably had a little bit of wealth or influence with or had like an employer that could equip him very well. Again, as you examine the journal, you see it's not like the current symbol of House Cannith, but it's definitely has that feel and shape to it. It's probably, this thing could exist. This could be pre-war, which makes it decades old. It's and then wrapped in the cloth is just an apple. a green, fresh apple.
I'm tempted to bite it.
It's sweet,
Um,
juicy, it crunches well.
Oh, wait. Didn't know if
can
I
I
should or
get
not.
a hold of a candle
Yes, so at the
somewhere
table, at the table there's a candle set there. It's kind of like one of those oil lamps, so it has the wick inside of it. And as you begin to fiddle with it, one of the servers approaches the table and says, "Would the two of you mind moving? Somebody here has requested your presence."
Who?
I'd rather not give their name. I'd rather them introduce themselves. But believe me when I say the house's reputation would not do anything to put you in danger while here in our enjoying our hospitality.
Look, what do you
Ishara
think?
kind of makes awkward eye contact with Navari, then shrugs.
I'm just following you. So it's up to you.
I get that a lot. They buying a meal?
Do we get drinks?
There are drinks at the table, yes, and they are paid.
Good enough.
All right.
Kind of jerks her head at Navari and stands up and does the good old gunslinger saunter on over with the thumbs in the belt, which has, of course, the cartridges all across it.
I just walk normally.
Walking normally is for fools and straight people.
I mean, I don't want to bring attention to myself. I'd prefer to blend in.
Thank you for appreciating that, Ben. Someone had to.
My only comment is, Zachary, some days I really miss you. Not being able to hang out with you in person. Because I
Not
definitely
all.
enjoy it. So as you get to this corner, you a human woman. She's wearing a dark blue coat. She has very delicate features, blue eyes, sleek black hair, and you can see that she has, like, to kind of like tie it back and stuff. She has some very nice silver kind of ornamentation. The first thing that you notice, Ishari, is that she is wearing a signet ring of House Cannith. And it is on her right finger, and she speaks with a very soft voice. She says, "Thank you for joining me." And she points to the table and she says, "Would you please sit down?" And on three pitchers on the table, there is a dark brown ale. There is a very pleasant smelling red wine, and there's also just a pitcher of water. She says, "I wasn't sure what you fancied to drink, so I ordered one of each of the best that the house has to offer."
Well, hey.
She motions for you guys to sit down, and she takes a seat as well.
Who knew the water was the best? But I'm drinking the wine.
Yeah, that's funny. How do we define the best water in the establishment? Ah, yes.
It's this
None of the
pleasant
animals at
smell.
the table feed into this water. Ishara will take a very large mug of the ale, but then will be loading and cleaning her pistols at the table
Okay.
I'll take the wine.
before taking any drinks.
I mean, you don't
So-
want to drink and clean your pistols.
She also pours herself. She doesn't pour a full glass, but she does pour herself off some of the wine. She sits and she says, "One thing about this city is that we at House Cannith have eyes and ears nearly everywhere. I was supposed to be meeting with a friend of mine, Provost Geldem. It appears that he will not be making it, as I have been told. However, you found him on the streets and protected something of his from falling into what I would consider the wrong hands. If I may ask for the journal, please. I mean you no harm. I don't want to have any confrontation with you. But perhaps after checking through it, you see, Bonnell and I were working on a research project. What most people don't know about the history of the city is that it's built on very ancient ruins. The thing is about those ruins is that not only are they deep below, which means you must go through the more unsavory parts of the city, but they are also potentially very dangerous and very hazardous. And the journal that he was interpreting and researching had in it mentionings of a schema of sorts, a pattern that would allow us, with the mark of creation, to potentially create a new craft, to learn something new of the history of Galifar and the history of our house. So if I could have the journal returned to me, and it is in fact accurate what we are looking for, perhaps I could negotiate the recovery of said schema, and you two could assist.
What do I feel like? So the whole time that she's talking, Ishara is working on her unloaded pistols. Pulling off the chamber, cleaning it out, working on the barrel, and just like not looking at them at all. She is just like eyes narrowed,
Yeah.
glinting, watching this
You're
woman.
there, but you're like you're not there.
What do we know about House Cannith? How trustworthy are they? And also, I'm going to be asking to roll insight at some point because I'm good at it.
All right. So first of all, go ahead and roll me the insight check. Okay.
Okay. That's a 20 total.
The good news is that she's not holding anything back. It's very obvious that she's being very sincere. She's not being like, there's no shifty eyes. It's not like she's looking corner for somebody to come up and mug you. She agreed to meet you in a place of House Kalanda, which is, they bear the mark of hospitality. They bear the mark that allows them to purify food and drink. It's why their houses are places where people go because they know they can meet freely, kind of like in a neutral setting, without having, with the added protection. So you can pay to have somebody like verify that your meal and stuff like that is safe. So for the most part, every step she's taking is making you comfortable that, okay, this is pretty well on the up and up. If you guys both want to roll history checks, I will let you know what you know about House Cannith.
All right. Am I proficient in that too? Ooh, I am.
I was going to say, Ishara, if you're not, I'm going to give you proficiency because of some of your background and stuff.
Yeah. I got a 15 for history.
I got a 12.
All right. So the common things that really everybody knows about House Cannith is that during the last war, up until that day, their headquarters were in the Mournland, Seer. And since the day of mourning, it is split into smaller houses. But they all carry the mark of making, which allows them to manufacture and repair things. The lesser known aspects is that they're very creative, they do a lot of experimentation. That is how the Warforged were created. One of the more interesting thing is that in the continent of Zendrick, in the ruins of this world, the mark of making has been around for a very, very long time. There's a lot of like historical things. There's a lot of ancient relics and stuff, and they're constantly kind of searching for these so they can learn more. They're always driven to press up against, like what the realm of possibility is. And, they've worked with other houses to create things like the elemental galleons, to create the sky coaches that, are all over Sharn, that they like I said, they had created the Warforged, they created the Warforged Colossi, but because they're a house and not a nation, they have, they made deals with other countries as well. So that's why you could find Warforged fighting for any of the sides within the last war, is because they would manufacture them and basically sell them as soldiers. But part of their creation and experimentation is what gave them an actual sentience, and that's why now under the Treaty of the Throne, the treaty, that they are an independent people. They are not just soldiers. They have rights. There are those who don't agree with it, though, and then there's some on the other end of that coin who are very extreme, who feel that the Warforged should have perhaps a nation of their own and a land to call their own.
Man, I want my
Yeah.
own nation.
Right? I
Now-
should have played as like a Warforged who's all about Warforged nationalism. That would have been fun.
Shara,
Could I
part of
use the
your
restroom
connection-
while you're explaining what he knows?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Shara, one of your connections with House Cannith is that your group, your gunslingers, your people who were able to forge firearms, had a very strong connection with them, like treaties with them when they existed. So you've never met this individual before in your life, but you've had dealings in the past with House Cannith that's always been very positive, because again, they are people who strive to create. Unfortunately, when you're pushing the boundaries of in a sense, magic and technology like that, sometimes disasters happen. And a theory that the destruction of Seer is, it was a House Cannith experiment that had gone awry, but unfortunately, there's still this time, nobody knows what happened precisely.
Yeah, there's no way to really confirm that.
Mhm.
And so just because that was a big information dump, can you do the short version of what she was asking us to do?
She wants you to go on a snatch and grab job. She wants you to go
Under the
down
city,
to-
right?
Yep. She wants you to go to the Undercity, and wants you to recover something that could be there. She just doesn't know, and she needs the journal to take the note that she was sent by Provost Geldum,
Interim.
who was the one who was
Geldum.
killed in the street, to hopefully kind of figure it out.
And has she offered any kind of recompense yet, or is that not
Nope.
come up?
We haven't gone that far in the discussion. We just kind of like did one of those like Ferris Bueller things where like everything just kind of freezes, and then I provided you guys a little more information.
Exposition. Yep.
Exposition, and then we're gonna unfreeze. No, actually, Zach Morris, he used to like snap his fingers and then freeze and then break the fourth wall. That's kind of what we did here.
Yeah, but Zach Morris is trash.
So the thing about him is like I feel like he does in some ways redeem himself, but like you have 90s writing.
Later in the show. Yeah, no, I mean I have a hard time going back and watching anything from the 90s at this point, so
I don't, because
it's a thing.
I love Saved by the Bell.
You also have more nostalgia than me because I wasn't born till the 90s were half over. So
Right? Sometimes I forget how much older I am than you.
I know. I'm surprised you're not showing them grays here on screen. Did you touch up your hair? Hit it with a little bit of the hair dye there?
It was actually toner from the printer.
Oh, I got you. That kind of explains the smudging that's starting on the forehead there. I was worried they were liver spots actually.
Well, I asked my boss here to make sure we started to restock the Red Bull, because sometimes guys just got to ride the bull.
That was physically painful. That was agonizing. So I think I guess I'm gonna wait for
Hello.
for Navari to.
What am I doing?
Perfect.
No, we're just waiting for you. So you have been requested. So just to look a quick recap after we had that exposition there, the journal was requested to be handed over, and in exchange, if the information that she is looking for is in there, she's going to hire you guys to do a job.
Okay. And
And go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that Ishara has some familiarity with House Karnath from her backstory and is relatively inclined, I think, to trust this woman. Although Kenneth, gosh darn it. Although she also had dealings with House Karnath as well. Less pleasant though.
Yeah.
Has this woman given us her name yet?
No. That's my fault.
Okay.
So she would have introduced herself to let you know that her name is I just want to see if how she does the last name. How I had the last name. It is Lady Lady Eladrin.
I'm putting.
Literally like the species Eladrin.
I'm probably just saying.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say Ella Dren is how I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. First name Ella, last name Drin. That makes sense. Okay.
Oh,
Right. So Ishara, who is now done cleaning her pistols, will finish loading one of them and then theatrically spin the chamber to close it. And and we'll do the little spin into the holster too,
Nice.
because why would?
Yeah, you're like you know, it's like, hey, I've got this. Yep, I have guns. You don't.
Ha ha ha. I've been working to fund an expedition into the Mournlands, and you haven't mentioned any sort of recompense for the job yet. I may be convinced to help you if you can be convinced to help me in return.
say I've kind of grown quite fond of this journal. You know, I've been like hit with a giant sword for it. I think it's still kind of bleeding some.
It's dried pretty well. You know, it's like the wound is definitely going to need like some better treatment, but it's not catastrophic at this point. But it's visible. You know.
I'm sure I can like possibly be convinced though. Just because had to get the journal, had to survive,
So,
had to not get thrown
gotta
off
eat to live, gotta steal to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, you always want to talk money. Well, that is fine. I am willing to pay quite a lot for your services. I will not pay it remotely all up front. I'm offering you 100 gold pieces for the journal as a down payment of good faith. And I will offer you much more with the success of your mission.
Can I get some healing with that 100 coin?
I assume we'll be able to take a little bit of a rest between now and when we leave.
I know.
Were you expecting us to depart immediately, or can we take some time to gather ourselves and our things?
The sooner the better. Because I fear the thing is that one of my acquaintances saw the battle because they were tailing Provost Geldum, and we fear that Warforged did not act randomly or on its own. We fear that Warforged is a member of a very extreme population that follow this person, the Lord of Blades. We've heard rumors of his existence. Apparently, he's a Warforged that has a colony of them in the Mournland, which creatures not needing to eat or drink or survive like we do, they are able to apparently sustain themselves very well out there. And he appears to be trying to create, his own nation amongst them. And for whatever reason, he has interest in the journal as well. So I would very much like to see it quickly, and I would very much, as fast as you can. And she raises her hand and signals for a server to come over, and the server approaches her, and she, politely whispers behind her hand. And a few moments go by, and somebody else approaches, and literally just like almost like on a platter would, except it's an uncorked potion of healing. You-
Excellent presentation. Very good
Very
plating.
good, very good.
You would get 6 hit points back if you drink it, Navari.
Sure.
So have you handed the journal back yet?
Do we get the money now?
So she reaches down to her own bag, which is probably on the floor, her own satchel,
Man satchel?
and she pulls out
Her
a
purse?
stack of platinum pieces, 10 of them, and she just slides them across the table to you guys. As I said, 100 gold up front as a payment of good faith for the journal, so that way I can give you better directions on how you can assist me. For there is much more money able to come to you.
I give her the journal.
Okay. So she takes it very gently and nods to you politely. And when her signet ring gets very close to the silver mark on the cover, they both glow. And she opens the book and she pulls out like a little journal. And as you guys can see, in the book, the pages are no longer blank when exposed to the signet ring of someone who is of House Cannith, who has the mark of making. So that's like you needed that connection in order to be able to read it. And she begins muttering herself, and she pulls out a piece of paper and unfolds it and lays it out. And she's like, yes. And you just kind of watch her working on different things, taking notes.
Can we see what
And
she's writing?
So from your direction, you see she's basically like making scribbles and flipping through her own diary as she's just trying to like piece together things that seem to be, and she has a few letters, obviously from like research she's been doing, perhaps at university, things like that. She says, "Oh, right, yes, all right." So here it is, 57 levels down below the tower's present-day sewer system. All I ask is that you find this this item within the foundry that is down there and bring it back to me, and I will pay you another 900 gold pieces. That is 1,000 gold pieces. I just ask that you please be quick and be swift. Now, unfortunately, I don't know my way around the lower city quite as well, so you're going to have to perhaps head to a more unsavory place to get information. But there is someone down there. My friends have dealt with him before. He's quite, I won't say trustworthy. You're going to have to pay him. But he's knowledgeable. And as long as you don't tell him how much I've paid you, you should be able to negotiate a fair price for the information you'll need. His name is Ska Khan, and he is a goblin. He knows, he's an unusual fellow. Someone who enjoys money, and he, could easily, be working for me in a much more civilized fashion, but he seems to prefer dwelling with those who live in the lower city, the more common folk, and wheeling and dealing, as he likes to say, selling things in a place that he refers to as the Rat's Market. He will be able to give you directions to precisely where this is on the map, which sewer it is currently, because as time has gone on, names have changed and things like that. But I would direct you to talk to Ska Khan, because he's, like I said, he's a little unusual. But if you go down there and you do this for me, I suggest you keep your money close, your weapons closer, because it is an unsavory place.
What is the rats market?
So the rats market is like it's like a black market.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's a flea market where thieves and more unsavory people live, kind of trade and things like that. And it's generally a place the law just kind of like doesn't really go down there too often because because being in the lower city, it's much more controlled by the gangs and stuff that run this that have a high influence in the city. So it just makes it to be a place that uh, it doesn't have like the same kind of influences. It's just very much like but so it's kind of governed on its own. We'll say. I think it's a good way to describe it.
No.
But it also means that fight breaks out, people are less likely to call for help and pick through your belongings that are left behind.
Mm-hmm. And did she give us a specific place to go to find this guy? Some specific guidance?
Yeah, so she said you're going to need to go to the lowest inhabited level of the Dorisharn Tower. She gives you directions to get there, and then Skakan will be able to direct you through the sewers to get to where this foundry is believed to be based on these old notes, and then looking through current maps where it should match up pretty well.
Do we have time to like go buy health potions or?
Yeah, you guys could make some purchases. If you guys wanted to make you definitely have a little you have short rest kind of time to prepare because she does want you to go quickly because she is afraid that if she wasn't clear about it in the discussion there, she does fear that there are other agents of the Lord of Blades who could be after this, which is why they killed Geldum and wanted the journal so bad. So it could potentially turn into a race against time of can you guys get there before these other guys.
Okay. And we both get, because it was 10 platinum, we both get 5, yes? Or do we both get 10?
No, it's 10 for the pair of you.
Tried.
Yeah.
I recommend hiding it in a good place. Hide it in your gun barrels. Don't do that. Just because
I'm sure we can get pouch on the inside of the vest or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hide our money in good places. Yeah. How much are health potions?
They're 50 gold pieces each.
So with a platinum piece we can buy 2?
No.
Wait, no.
Platinum is 10.
So you each have enough to buy 1.
Oh, with the 5 platinum?
Mm-hmm.
Each platinum is 10 gold.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
I'll buy 1 with my platinum. Rip platinum.
I will not. Once we hit level 4, I will be able to be helpful and heal.
You can heal?
You think you're going to level up?
We're going to die before that happens.
No, I'm just a notoriously slow XP distributor and leveler.
It's pretty bad.
It's not personal. It's just I just enjoy.
He likes to make us work for it.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
For everyone watching, don't play D&D with Ben. It's horrible.
We're actually being held hostage. Send help.
You're not. Yeah, Ashley's blinking Morse code messages. Great. Then I'm gonna get. Apparently, there's this thing where you make a fake 911 call and a SWAT team shows up.
What?
Because somebody's being kidnapped or been kidnapped, and this is where they're at. I heard about this. I think it was something on the internet. Somebody told me about it. So great. Watch 10 minutes later, and then there's gonna be a SWAT team here because you guys told everybody that you're being kidnapped on Twitch. Nobody has been kidnapped.
No one's been kidnapped. Are you still doing Morse code today?
Yeah, and to be fair, we're not on site. I don't know how Ben.
I was gonna say we're not on site.
Doing it with me in Texas. To be fair, I don't know how I ended up here without someone threatening me with a gun. So.
Aw. Aw.
No, like he's like, oh, we're not on site. No, we're just in a pit. And Ben's up there with it rubs the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Listen, man, I have harsh words to say about this place, but calling Texas a pit is a little mean.
I've been implying that we have a pit at the store where I have
I
you
know what
guys
you're
prisoner.
implying.
Yeah, this is actually like a green screen behind me.
Yes, it's yeah. We line the pit with a green screen. Yes,
There
and
are
it makes me
actually
See, this nice like chair and headset are just a ruse.
there are actually assailants in green morph suits so that they're invisible, holding guns on us that are also covered with the green morph suit material. You're being compelled to play D&D with Ben because it's the only way it would happen. I was getting confused looks from my wife, who's totally not here because I'm in a pit covered in green.
She's being held hostage too.
What if you play well? You get fed today.
I haven't eaten yet today. I'm
I've
gonna need to fix
eaten.
that.
We should probably continue before Ben gets in trouble.
Oh, ladies
Yes,
and gentlemen, heart of the game players. Here live is Dungeon Master Benjamin from the Heart of the Game Studios. I promise we have not kidnapped anybody.
recently.
Right. So if you guys want to make any purchases or extra preparation, go ahead and do that now, and we will continue.
I have 15 gold left. I don't know. I can wait till we get more gold. I need more gold to spend it.
Just think, if you succeed, money.
Until I spend it all.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I will do. I just gotta wait for a good time.
I'll grab a couple of generic pieces of adventuring gear. Ball bearings, caltrops, rope, couple of batons, stuff like that.
Okay.
Small mirror, I use those a lot.
Aw. Aw.
I say a lot. Probably once every 3 campaigns, I get to use one of these random things that I buy. But when I do, I'm grateful that I have them.
Makes sense.
It's like the feel good items, where it's like, oh, I found a reason to use this. All right.
Yep.
So,
That's why I
Did you guys
collect
make it
random
through
stuff
the-
sometimes.
you guys take off to descend into the lower levels, and so as you guys get kind of deeper, the walls get a lot thicker for the structures because now you're getting into the base of the structures. But this city is able to be as tall as it is because of its intersection point with the, I forgot the real name, but we're going to call it the plane of air this week, and I'll correct it next week. And as you go down through these narrower and darker tunnels in the foundations of the towers, there's occasionally a torch placed sputtering here or there, giving off some light. This area isn't as well maintained. If things get stolen or damaged, it's not being repaired immediately like in the upper city. But then you guys get into this much larger chamber where there's no even if it was daytime, the light of day could never get this deep because it's just so low compared to the height and how all the pieces and the paths and everything are above. And you can see there's goblins, there's humans, there's shifters, there's really good representation of a lot of the peoples of Eberron. Live in this place, and you can hear shouts as people are selling their wares, making purchases, calling out, I got meat, the best rat's meat this side of the city. And you hear somebody else, you don't want rat, you want dog. And somebody else is like, I've got seasonings here, fresh water. Calls for different kinds of products that in the upper city, some of these things you'd be like, oh, I mean, people are eating rats, it'd be just disgusting, or trouble getting water, but down here, some of these commodities are a little, things like very clear water, just they're a little bit more harder to come by. And there's all these little stands. Some of the stands are, like just easy pop-up tents and a blanket rolled out underneath. And then there's others that it's more of a structured kind of like what do you call that, a yurt, where you'd have to go inside and talk to the person. And there's all sorts of, just people just walking around, just living their life in this area, the city. But like, there's like some tougher, like brutish looking guys, it's like, oh, that's like guys with scars and people who've been in scrapes and fights. And you see like a small group of halflings walk through, and as they walk through, people are just giving them lots of space, obviously like respect, because perhaps of like the clan that they're part of. And um about 20 minutes or so for you to discover the goblin that you were instructed to find, Scott Khan. He says, "Ah, yes. Hey, what can I do for you two today? I've got a rare stick of sealing wax, only partially used, for a mere 60 coppers. Or maybe you could use this fine woolen blanket. It only has a hint of mildew." And he puts it back down. He says, "Only 39 coppers. That's a steal. Or maybe I could point out a certain valve cluster for you.
What did he say? A certain what?
A certain, he said a certain valve cluster, as if he knew you guys were coming.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Magically ahead of time, either through a spell of sending an animal messenger or something. So he says, "Ah, yes, you didn't think old Scott Khan wouldn't know a couple of strangers who stick out like sore thumbs." And he puts his like hands up, and you can see he doesn't have thumbs. So it kind of looks like this, when you see his hand. And he says, "Ah, yes. So if you're not going to waste my time, I want my 50 gold pieces. I tell you where to go and you leave. I have sales to make." "Ah, yes. Hey, how are you? Ah, yes. How is that twin-bladed sword working out that I sold him? See, last week I showed him a sword, and it does this thing where it splits in two, and it's two swords. Because he said he had trouble with someone who owed him money. So I said, "Ah, yes, you want to get money to threaten somebody. You need to find swords. Will please make money so I can send you on your way."
So Ishara, I think once he's finally done talking for a minute, she rolls her eyes at him, she whips out her Bowie knife and starts cleaning under her fingernails with it, and she turns to Navari, and she says, while picking a little bit of dirt out, she says, "I don't think this guy can help us. We're gonna have to find someone else."
No,
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, listen, I have this wonderful blanket here. 39 coppers. See, now you're driving away in my business. They think you're part of you, that you don't belong, that I am someone who's troubled. Now hurry up. Just give me the gold and I tell you where to go."
I think you're charging an outlandish amount of gold to tell me where a handful of valves are there, Ska Khan.
What do you think the handful of these valves is huge? I know exactly where they are. As he's talking to you guys, I want you each to just roll me a perception check, please.
No. Oh, beans.
No, beans.
Natural 20.
Oh,
So
oh my.
one thing that, Navarre, you notice that there are like a couple of kobolds. They seem to be watching you guys, and when they get a glimpse that you see them, they just immediately look busy and scamper off.
We're
into the
being
crowd.
watched by kobolds.
I got a
no,
22.
that's not right.
I also.
Listen here, 35 gold pieces. I tell you where to go, and I already have it written down right here. And he pulls out this scrap of paper that has a big hole in the middle of it. And you can see it's like rolled up. You can see the tear, like it's like just what he's scabbing. He's like, "Listen. You pay me, and you get on your way." And then we have, "Hey, how are you? Listen, how about you grab me one of those rats on a stick? It's very good, right?"
Listen, you'll get 15 gold from us. We'll be out of your hair. I will knock over any tables on the way out.
"Oh, that's a robbery. I am worth far more than 15 gold. How about this? How about 30 gold pieces?"
You're taking money out of the mouths of my children, Ska Khan, but I'll give you 25.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check as you say that.
All right.
Are you proficient in persuasion?
I am actually.
Oh, nice.
I don't have a ridiculously high charisma or anything, but well, how does a 16 sound?
Oh, well, let me just say this. I don't think I'm taking any money from you beautiful lasses, children's. Yes, so I can do 25 gold pieces for you. That just sounds perfect. Now hurry up. Pay up, pay up, pay up.
And I will pay him as I have promised.
He takes the coins, he examines them, he stuffs them into a bag, he starts rolling up his blanket. He says, now listen, and he starts scratching into the dirt. Listen, you go this way, and then you go here, and then there'll be this
Keeping an eye out for the kobolds too.
Then you two go ahead and roll another perception check then. And then you're going to turn it do make sure you turn it to the right, and it's going to be very tight. Okay, listen.
15.
Now, and I have to get out of here. I have places to go and things to sell, and hopefully I don't get seen by anybody else. We'll see.
15. For my second perception.
So you see that the kobolds have split up. One of them you have no sight of anymore, and then the other one seems to have just kind of like taken like a roundabout, but he's still kind of keeping his eyes on you guys. But this time he doesn't seem to notice that you're examining him.
Once he's done writing the map down, I kick the dirt to cover up the map that was made.
Okay. Yeah, excellent.
Smart.
And I tell her we should keep an eye out. The kobolds are still watching us. They might be working for another house.
I'll be walking around with a hand in each pencil.
And so as you guys stand there and talk, Scott Khan has obviously been someone who knows how to move quickly. Wares are packed, they're in a bag, and he is gone. Going to hopefully maybe swindle or sell or just make a few more dollars. A very unusual character, but he is on his way. So you guys are still down there, and for the most part, like everybody, a few people give you odd looks because obviously you're a little out of place, but it's not so unusual that somebody might come down here for something more illicit, whether they want to gamble, obtain, drugs of kinds, or have, like dirtier jobs done. Like you want to get even with somebody, or just, or purchase something that's like on a contraband or something a little more difficult to find.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys follow his directions, and you go to a narrow passage that leads to a staircase that descends deeper into the tower. With each step down, you guys smell more the odor of mold, sewage gets stronger, and you can hear liquid sound increasing in volume as it descends, like moving water, because you guys are in the bottom, so like drainage from the top from the rain comes. So you're kind of like in a storm sewer kind of situation down here. And I need you guys both to roll me perception checks again.
Who's just gonna ask?
Man, I'm glad
Maybe
I
we can
made
put put traps down if the kobolds follow.
I turned to nat 20 the perception, so that's a 25.
Woo! I got a 15.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, y'all.
Nah, that's cool.
So you guys get down into a passageway, and coming from the shadows,
To them stupid kobolds.
from an alcove is actually another Warforged, who with a wide swing takes its double-handed hammer. Whoosh! You both see it coming and jump back out of the way. And at the other end of the sewage tunnel are two kobolds holding bows, and they appear to have masked themselves. And I'm going to show off the map in just a quick second. I'm just going to find that other character.
I knew them kobolds were trouble.
Here is the situation.
You don't know that
So you're in a
those
sewer.
cool.
You're in a sewer tunnel. There is a Warforged with a hammer at one end. There's all these like kind of alcoves coming off to the side where water can come in. And there's the two kobolds down at the other end. And on that note, that is where we're going to end today's session.
Aw.
We'll pick up immediately where we left off next week here at
Aw.
Heart of the Game every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. We just want to say thank you all who took the time to chime in and watch. And if you're not watching it live, we still appreciate those videos, shares, and stuff like that afterwards. And you can always check out the shop in person here in good old Buffalo, New York. You can also check us out on Facebook at Heart of the Game there. And yeah, if you guys have anything you want to plug or any creative enterprises you're working on, this would be, go ahead and do that.
You can go, Zach.
Epstein didn't kill himself. That's all I got.
Okay, good note to end this on. So we're gonna sign off here from Twitch, and I just hope you all have a good night, have a good week. Please just be good to one another out there.
Yes. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. I don't know if I have anything interesting to say.
I never do. Pet your cat.
Pet your
Yes, yes.
pet your cats.
Take care of your fur babies.
Bernie
Wolf.
says pet your cat.
Wolf said he wishes he can check out the shop in person. Might be a bit of a drive or walk.
But anyway, on that, good night, everybody. We appreciate all of you who time in to watch and who may be listening to this after we get it up as a podcast. Thank you again, and have a good night.
Bye.
All right, Ben. I'm gonna go get food and caffeine. But thank you so much for running. I love you.